May is Military Appreciation Month here at Bondi's Enterprise Toyota. Come share our love for our military with our annual Makers and Offers sales event and get NADA retail value for your trade. Every new vehicle comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty at Bondi's Enterprise Toyota.
Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. I'm Bill Rice Jr. Joining me is Mike Amos, and he is in Panama City Beach, and Michael Amos will be joining us shortly on the phone as well. And we have to open the show with just shocking and terribly sad news. As many of you might have already heard, Mayor Jimmy Lunsford passed away yesterday, and Mike, I know he was a very close friend of yours.
He sure was, but he was a very close friend of everybody in this community. Jimmy Lunsford, I call him the great recruiter, is dead after surgery in Birmingham. It was a heart valve replacement type surgery, and he fought this thing and was courageous through everything about the surgery. And I noticed that I talked to him just briefly on Monday, and he was real positive. But when you have this type of operation, you don't know exactly what you can expect. And we lost him while in surgery, and a dear friend and great mayor is dead in Birmingham, Alabama, and of course the whole county and the whole city of Troy is very, very hurt by this news. But of course he was for 30 years the mayor of the city of Troy, and was a great mayor, and he mayors from all over this area tried to mold their
administrations after what he did here in Troy.
Yes, he sure did. And he just was very innovative, and he loved his community. And I don't know, for 30 years, I don't think Troy could have had a better mayor.
No.
He was just so good and so thorough and so innovative. I started my career in state government with Jimmy. Jimmy actually helped me get my job there several years ago. And
wow.
I always felt that he helped me in every way he could to be good at what I did. And the same way with him, when he became mayor, he said, "Man, I just want to be the best I can be for our community." And boy, did he do it! And he brought in industry from all over. And he was. I always said he was not afraid when he would step up there with the Montgomerys and the Birminghams and the Mobiles and the big cities. He'd go straight up, and sure enough, he brought in a lot of industry.
Well, the other thing is that he was so smart, and he could go up. He would represent your city so well because he was so knowledgeable and intelligent, and man, he knew every detail of economic development and city administration. He could explain anything to you. Just very sharp, but his heart was always wanting to help Troy, which is obvious that he loved, he and his family. So a tremendous loss, and we will be talking about Jimmy Lunsford's legacy from now on. Let me get this phone, Mike. Okay, let's see.
Okay.
Good morning. You're on Today in LA.
Hey, morning.
Hey, this is Michael Amos joining us from Grayton Beach, and Michael, of course, we're talking about the passing of Mayor Lunsford. So I'm sure you're like everybody in. He was a mayor, kind of like Chancellor Hawkins, that knows all his students. He was a mayor that knew all his citizens. So I'm sure you knew him well too.
Yeah, I mean, it breaks my heart. He's a legendary figure in the Troy community, and of course, nobody ever called him Jimmy. Everybody just called him Mayor. And he was a great ambassador to Troy and Pike County. And I know dear friends of Mom and Dad. And breaks my heart. I talked to several friends yesterday and let them know. And, a lot of people told me stuff I didn't even realize, like Mayor Lunsford helped them get their first job and stuff like that. I mean, I just remember him a lot from my country club days, always being out there and always being, the life of the country club. Everybody loved him so much out there as well. And of course, he'd just drive over on his golf cart and all the Troy University events over the years as well. So it's tough news to hear for sure.
Well, let me tell you this, whether you're a farmer or a businessman or a college teacher, and from whatever walk of life you came, he came from the same walk of life. He was a country boy from way back, and
isn't he from
from the
Needmore area?
His dad was a farmer, and Jimmy.
Hey, Mike, speak up or speak into your phone. You're very.
A young lady named Faith Stevens, and they got married, and the rest is just
Dad, nobody can hear you.
Yeah, Mike, we lost you. Your audio is way down. I don't know if you're talking too far away from the phone or something.
Dad, you got to hold the phone up.
When it comes to surgery, precision is perfection. The very latest technology available ensures the best possible outcome. The Mako Robotic Arm-Assisted Surgery System is now available at Troy Regional Medical Center. Skilled orthopedic surgeon Dr. Robert L. Liljeberg and his team provide patients with faster recovery and better movement after a knee replacement surgery. When accuracy matters, you deserve the very best. Troy Regional Medical Center.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
This is my chart from Southeast Health.
And you're going to want to make it yours.
Not because it's free,
but because it's priceless. Because with my chart, you can schedule appointments online with your provider.
You can email your provider and get answers.
Get test results.
Refill prescriptions.
And manage your family's health care. You know how we all want health care to be easier?
But no one seems to listen?
Well, someone did. Southeast Health.
To get your free My Chart app,
visit your app store
or go to southeasthealth.org.
Barney, what are you doing?
You've been looking for a sale. I'm going to give you one. We got one open.
Barney, it's not a jail sale. It's called a car sale. 0% financing for 72 months. Discounts over $15,000.
Killing the competition.
$5,000 over Kelly Blue Book for any old trade. Hey, and it's not illegal to kill the competition.
That's another charge.
Folks, just go to PremierTroy.com. That's where you'll find all the deals. I'll see you soon.
No, you ain't. You're going to be in jail.
Barney!
Nobody beats a Premier deal.
Nobody!
Okay, we're back on Today in L.A., and Mike was talking about what Jimmy Lunsford meant to him and to our town, and we had technical difficulties. He was probably walked away from the speakerphone, so we couldn't hear him. So Mike's going to call back, and we'll hopefully fix that. But we've got Michael, and for people that are just joining us, we're talking about the passing of Mayor Jimmy Lunsford, who I understand passed away yesterday during the surgery to work or replace a heart valve. So major serious surgery that Mayor Lunsford didn't make it through. I think Mayor Lunsford was approximately 78, 79 years old. He served as mayor for at least 30 years, and before that he was a city commissioner. He was a retired from the Alabama National Guard, I think as a major, so he had a distinguished military career. He was on countless boards. You know, you could just a laundry list of titles he held. We've talked about what a great economic recruiter he was. He later worked for, after retirement from city government, he worked for Pike County Economic Development and was very instrumental in some of these big companies coming to Pike County, like Rex Lumber and Kimber. You know, he worked on all those projects and had a very key role in landing, you know, industries that have created hundreds of jobs and will produce millions of dollars in the economy for decades. I mean, I'm reading James Treadwell's story in The Messenger, and it talked about how he was a big supporter of recreation in the community and, you know, got us the Sportsplex and an expanded rec program and rec center that's been outstanding. Michael, I guess you could just, I mean, I'm just talking off the top of my head, but every area of our life, he was the moving force. I mean, the move to Troy athletics as Division I, you know, that probably wouldn't have happened unless the city of Troy got behind it and provided financial support early on. Well, who did that? That was really Mayor Lunsford, too.
Yeah, well, I mean, the stadium expansion, you know, a lot of that was paid, you know, by the city of Troy. So, I mean, a lot of that happened because of Mayor Lunsford. Of course, it'd be great to have, Johnny Whittington on this morning, or you know, Mayor Jason Reeves. You know, these guys that, you know, served under Mayor Lunsford so many years on the city council. But thoughts and prayers go out to Jim and Holly and Faye and, you know, all the Lunsford family today. I hope Dad can call back in because, you know, Dad and Jimmy were really close and talked quite a bit. Dad actually talked to him just a few days ago. He told me when I talked to him yesterday.
Yeah, he said that. He said he spoke to him briefly Monday before Jimmy was going into the surgery. Here he is. That's probably Mike calling back. Let me get him. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A.
This is Mike Amos calling from Panama
All right.
City Beach. It's beautiful down here. Of course, we're still mourning the loss of our good friend and great mayor, Jimmy Lunsford. And, of course, you know, no reflection against Mayor Reeves, who does a great job. I know you'll hear a lot of people calling Jimmy Lunsford mayor. Well, that's where they call him for 30 years. That's how he was received, and he was a great mayor. And of course, we got a great mayor, Reeves, and he is one of the ones that had said more to say about Jimmy Lunsford than anybody because of what he's done to help Mayor Reeves become a great mayor.
Well, he mentored Jason, and Jason served as a city councilman under Mayor Lunsford, and then Mayor Lunsford was the boss of Jason's grandfather and dad that was the former police chief, so the Reeves and the Lunsfords are very close. But everybody...
You got to go all the way back to Homer.
That's what, yeah.
Pretty much was over the city for all those years.
Homer was like a father to Jimmy. He was they were very, very close. Of course, everybody remembers what Homer Reeves did with the city of Troy and our utilities. And it's just a town right now that is grieving over the death of their former mayor, Jimmy Lunsford, 30 years mayor of Troy, and started its work in the city government in 1982, and went from there, the commission, then to being the mayor, and he left Troy in great shape, and we appreciate him as the great recruiter Birmingham after an operation, and as we mourn the loss of this great recruiter, we look back over his career as a city servant, and boy, I tell you, he was the envy of all the mayors around this part of the country for what he did. How did you do that, Jimmy? You heard many people say, how did he do that, for Troy? How did he bring that big industry to Troy, or how did he do this, or how he did that? Well, I think the big word would be smart. The guy was just so smart, and he understood government. He came in there to Troy after a long experience working with ADECA and state government, and he knew the ropes, and that had a lot to do with it. And he knew
Wouldn't y'all ride to work yet? Wouldn't y'all ride to work together sometimes?
Oh yeah, for a long time, yeah. He actually got me my job with the state of Alabama, and I worked there for almost 30 years myself. And I knew that when Jimmy left, that hey, he was going to take a lot of what he learned in state government with him to Troy. And sure enough, like I just said, he knew who to go to, and the people it would take to say yes to bring an industry to Troy, Alabama. And Mike just started calling them out, some of the industries that he helped bring to Troy.
Well, I mean, you got Martin Marietta.
Yep.
See, and who would have ever thought that? I mean, this big federal, or big conglomerate that was a
military contractor.
Yeah, contractor. And then who name me another one, Mike?
Well, I mean, he did a lot of stuff for the city and the county after he was mayor as well. Bill just gave off a list of all the different different things he had a part of.
I couldn't hear, but that's what I was wanting to say is his ability as mayor to bring in industry, and then after he left the mayor's office, the economic development that he helped bring to
I'll give you one example, Mike. Is Rex Lumber just spent at least $45 million on a project to build a high-tech sawmill just outside of Troy. Well, Mayor Lunsford was an important consultant to make that project happen. And, I worked for a couple of months at Pike County Economic Development, and so I got to work every day with Jimmy, and we would talk about that project. I was working on a story on it, and man, he would explain it to you, and you could just tell he knew everything about the timber and lumber business and why it was important and all the nuts and bolts of what it took to get that project in Troy. Let's say Troy. It's actually technically just out of Troy. But there were communities, three communities all throughout the Southeast that were competing for that job. That project, bringing that plant to their county, and I guarantee you it wouldn't have happened unless Jimmy Lunsford was playing. But that's like you say, that's just one. That's just one example of many projects.
I think the big thing was Division I athletics, like we mentioned before. The city owns a lot of the Memorial Stadium. They gave a lot of money for the expansion into Division I athletics, and that helped tremendously to have the mayor behind Chancellor Hawkins and the athletic department.
Well, I know this. There was a $400,000 came up that Troy would have to be able to bring it up to Division I AA, and he got it. He went and got that $400,000 from the city, and that's how we really got rolling towards Division IA.
People forget that would if you did not have that money, that probably would have nixed the whole deal right there. And then,
exactly right. You're exactly right, and he knew it, and he went after it, and he got it, and got the city to go through with it. And look, we're Division 1A city, and a lot of people might not realize what I'm saying, but Division 1A put us up with the Alabamas and the Auburns and schools like that in athletics, and it just has helped us grow and prosper.
It changed the whole image or brand of the town.
It sure did.
Yeah.
I say, a good example, Courtyard by Marriott and Hampton Inn. No way would they have come to Troy, Alabama, unless we were Division 1A in athletics. I guarantee you. That right there sort of put us on the map. There when they came in and we have prospered.
Yeah,
trust me, Troy would have a Publix if we weren't Division 1 athletics.
That's right. That's right. Normally would have not been here. You're right.
We talk about bringing in industries. Sometimes we forget about the importance of growing and supporting the industries you already have, and he did that. He did that, and I mean, who is really? I just talked about Rex Lumber or Lockheed Martin, then Martin Marietta coming in. But who's really grown? Who has grown more than any of them is the homegrown businesses like the Sanders companies. And then he helped Troy University by helping support the move to Division I, and then Troy University has doubled in size.
Well, you look at our peanut butter company. They're right now growing and are expanding and growing. And he'll tell you right there that man right there, and Jimmy Lunsford, the owner of the top brass with the peanut butter company, and Jimmy Lunsford became very good friends.
Robert Jacobs.
Yeah, Robert Jacobs, and bless his heart, Robert Jacobs is probably still very upset by the news. And this is a guy that came over from Georgia, worked over in Georgia, and became great friends with this former mayor, Jimmy Lunsford. And
the whole Troy Country Club crowd is devastated.
Yeah. Well, there's no question about it. But just you can walk down the street of Troy today and stop by and talk to most businesses and whatever, individuals and so forth, and I'm sure they would have a very kind word to say about their former mayor, Jimmy Lunsford, and what a man he was. And like you said at the beginning, he was a friend of everybody. He loved this community, and you go out in the country. Hey, he was as country as he can be. You come to Troy, go before top executives from all over the country. He was just as strong there.
That's
whether
right.
he was a farmer or whether he was a businessman or whether he was up into dealing with the top businesses in the country, he could walk every walk. And he loved his heritage. He was born on a farm out of Nemo, Alabama, with Grady Lunsford, and he and Foy, the great relationship he had with his brother Foy Lunsford, and now he's up there with Foy just having a ball, looking down, saying, "Man, that was a great ride, wasn't it, Foy?"
He lived life to the fullest. That's one thing I'll always say about Mayor Lunsford.
And I think he helped countless people. He got Mike his job in state government. He got my dad his job as the City of Troy recycling coordinator. Dad was in the gas business, sold it, really didn't have anything to do. He was just sitting at home in retirement. He got some money from selling his business, but he didn't need to be sitting at home doing nothing. And Mayor Lunsford and Green Davis said, "Bill, come, we want to start this citywide recycling program. Will you come get it going and help us run it?" And so then my dad had a 15-year career working for the city of Troy that he thoroughly enjoyed and did good work, all because of Mayor Lunsford, you know, and then the city councilmen like Mr. Meeks and others too, Mr. Witherington. But I mean, that's just, and then, gosh, when I had my newspapers, every time I asked for help from the city or Mayor Lunsford, he gave it. You know, he was, couldn't have been a better supporter of the Troy citizen and me. So, I mean, that's my story. We just heard Mike's story. And there's dozens of scores, hundreds of stories like that from everybody watching.
Another dear friend of Jimmy Lunsford, who was a great businessman in this town for many years, very successful, Ben Beard. He and I touched base quite a bit yesterday, and you know, he's another one that has had great respect for Jimmy Lunsford's ability to handle people and work with people and put together programs and plans and
well, you talk about he was a recruiter. He was really an excellent manager too. People, he brought in good people, and then he managed them. I think he knew how to supervise them, but he also knew to bring in the good people and then just let them do their job too.
Right, you're so right. What you've had to say you're so right about that. The city employees, and I'm sure Mayor Reeves has continued this, but he was always conscious of the workers with the city, and he made sure that they were able to get different raises, and enhance their career every day. And he really did a wonderful job of working with his city employees.
Jimmy Lunsford tennis athletic complex. I never knew Jimmy Lunsford even pick up a racket, but that's what's named after him at Troy University.
And the city police department or administration building is named after him. There'll be probably more things named after him, deservedly so.
I can't help but be tickled by what Michael just said. But the reason he had that tennis complex named after him, he gave him the money pretty much to build it.
And hasn't.
And that's what the reason.
That's right. And hadn't that helped beautify that area of Troy and Elm Street? And it's just an example of he got how important the marriage was between the college and the town. They call it the town and gown relationship. And so anything he could do to support Troy University, he did it. Well, for one, he loved Troy University, but he also knew that would help the city of Troy. But yeah, and then the other thing I think about is how the recreation department has completely transformed itself in the 38 years he was involved in city government. That took a lot of vision, money, bond issues to first build that sportsplex and then hire Bo Gaylord as a full-time rec director. Then Bo hired Dan Smith, who succeeded Bo and just took the recreation department to a completely new level.
And again, you can put them up against any town anywhere about the quality of the Troy Recreation Center, and of course, Mayor Reeves has kept it going, and Mayor Lunsford. I tell you one thing, a little story that Dan Smith told me. For years, Troy was wanting to build a big complex and to have the big pool and everything right there together. And, they kept putting it off. And Mayor Lunsford said, well, what we'll do, we'll get it where we want it. And that's exactly what they did. They were planning this thing for 8 to 10 years. Mm-hmm. And then when it got to fruition, the money that they spent was well worthwhile because it actually made it a much, much better project when they initially started it. And that was because they had enough patience to wait. Then and all you have to do is walk in there, Troy has a great recreation facility.
Oh, and I mean, it has perfect grounds. You know, it's got space to have all the baseball fields, soccer fields, practice fields, walking trails, playgrounds, Miracle League fields. You can probably put more stuff out there. I mean, so there was. You're right. There was a long-range vision, and it did work that they waited to do it right. But I think it's exceeded all of their expectations.
Like the complex, they went from an ordinary one that they would have done. You know, if they'd gone ahead work started construction on it until it actually made it a great facility.
Yeah.
It did.
Well, it's a quality of life thing.
We don't know funeral arrangements or anything like that yet, do we?
No, we won't know that until later on. But again, it's a city that is mourning over a great contributor to their to the city of Troy for so many years. 30 years mayor of the city of Troy as mayor, and now he is going to live with the Lord Jesus Christ, and that's what's more important than anything.
Well, I think he had.
I'm sure Troy Cable could pull up a lot of old videos of you interviewing Mayor Lunsford.
Yeah.
All the parades that you would interview him, and all the he was on camera. That would be something maybe that they could put together and give to the family.
Well, I tell you, it's you can't when you honor a man like Jimmy Lunsford, you look out over this community and like you said, what he's done for the community and what he's done for people everywhere. Even Earl Johnson, a good friend of mine from Andalusia, is the mayor of Andalusia, does a great job.
Mm-hmm.
But he always envied the work of Jimmy Lunsford. He said, you know, you're working real hard, and then Jimmy Lunsford from Troy walks in and says, "Bang," and out goes the industry. But he said that Jimmy Lunsford really had helped him do the things he's done for Andalusia, and I'm sure any other mayor around the area would probably say the same thing.
You know, I've seen him at work. You have too, I'm sure, Mike. When I was working at Pike County Economic Development, I would sit in the boardroom and listen to him talk to CEOs of big major companies and give a little briefing or presentation. I mean, these people, they didn't encounter anybody sharper than Jimmy Lunsford. You know, so it just really had to impress people that he was the perfect ambassador for Troy. I mean, when you have a mayor speaking for you and speaking to important people, you don't want to be embarrassed by him.
I've always known something about him that was very unique. Like if you needed to talk, I mean, if an industry is sitting there at the table with you, and you needed to let him know about the water situation or the sewer situation, he would not only bring that guy in charge of the water or in charge of the sewer department or utilities department, he would bring those people in and sit them down with that industry. You know, he always had a plan where it's the roads or the transportation or any kind of
that's right.
Other things that they needed to have for this thing to go, for this project to go. He had them all set up, ready to go in there to talk to those people about the infrastructure of their program, and he was the best at that, putting together his people to represent any kind of question an industry would have.
Yeah, but then the other thing was he would bring in his top people and experts on it, but you know, you also knew that he knew probably just as much as they did about that area too.
It was amazing, but you know, Grady Reeves and Jimmy were very close friends, and they were also close in the work of what they each industry, each component would do to make the project work.
Well, it's a good time to take a commercial and then talk about some of our great sponsors, like First Citizens Bank, Troy Bank and Trust, and Horn Beverage Company. You can read them. I hope when everybody watches the show, I hope they spend a couple of seconds looking at these display ads in the corner of the screen. They make this show possible, and they're all fantastic businesses. So with that, let's go watch a commercial of one of these supporting businesses.
When it comes to surgery, precision is perfection. The very latest technology available ensures the best possible outcome. The Mako robotic arm-assisted surgery system is now available at Troy Regional Medical Center. Skilled orthopedic surgeon Dr. Robert L. Liljeberg and his team provide patients with faster recovery and better movement after a knee replacement surgery. When accuracy matters, you deserve the very best. Troy Regional Medical Center.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
This is my chart from Southeast Health.
And you're gonna want to make it yours.
Not because it's free,
But because it's priceless. Because with my chart, you can schedule appointments online with your provider.
You can email your provider and get answers.
Get test results.
refill prescriptions.
And manage your family's health care. You know how you all want health care to be easier?
But no one seems to listen?
Well, someone did. Southeast Health.
To get your free My Chart app,
Visit your app store
Or go to southeasthealth.org.
Barney, what are you doing?
You've been looking for a sale. I'm going to give you one. We got one open.
Barney, it's not a jail sale. It's called a car sale. 0% financing for 72 months. Discounts over $15,000.
Killing the competition.
$5,000 over Kelly Blue Book for any old trade. Hey, and it's not illegal to kill the competition.
That's another charge.
Folks, just go to PremierTroy.com. That's where you'll find all the deals. I'll see you soon.
No, you ain't. You're going to be in jail.
Barney!
Nobody beats a Premier deal.
Nobody! Lunsford, he knows everything. All right, we're back on the air. And, of course, what we've been talking about is the passing of longtime Troy Mayor Jimmy Lunsford. Mike?
Well, again, I'm talking about my dear friend, so I don't talk very strongly. I mean, it's sort of tough on me to say some of the things I say because, we were such good friends, and it hurts. I'm telling you, it still hurts, and it's going to hurt for a long time. A good friend of mine and a very good friend of the mayor, Jimmy Lunsford, was Gary Guthrie, very good friends with Mayor Lunsford, and he was the president of the Troy Bank and Trust Company. And from whatever walk he walked, there were people that loved him and admired him for his work. And of course, and business people like Gary Guthrie and the Troy Bank and Trust Company, they could all sit down as a group and provide a lot of strength to the programs that Jimmy was trying to bring to Troy. He always had great support on the things that he was able to do.
I'm looking at the messenger. It'd be a great day to. We got a free messenger today, or buy one. Of course, the lead story is the passing of Mayor Lunsford, but right below that, we have a story about Pike Liberal Arts is going to break ground on a new playground, and part of the reasons they can do that is they got a $25,000 donation from Jason Gregory of Premier Dodge Jeep. So that just shows you how Jason and Premier Dodge Jeep Chrysler continue to support people and organizations in the community. So what quite a gesture there.
Yeah, he's what you call he's a doer. He's a doer and a giver. He cares about the community.
He's no question about it. And the old poem, the leaner and the lifter. He's definitely a lifter in our community. And again, we appreciate Jason for what he's done, not only for that project, but with so many projects in the city of Troy. And he's a great one. He's
runs a great business, and he's very conscious of what's going on around him. And he's got these precious girls. He's got 3 girls, and it helps.
Yeah, they're pictured on the front page in the Messenger. They're adorable young ladies. They got the Pike Liberal Arts Patriot mascot. I've never seen him.
That is a good-looking little high school mascot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's good. That's great. You know, tomorrow, Charles Henderson, I believe that's right, on Thursday, they graduate from Veterans Memorial Stadium.
Yep. Tomorrow morning.
I know those kids are excited.
Yeah, let's talk briefly about a little sports. I guess the big news is that Troy opened the Sun Belt baseball conference tournament in Montgomery at Riverwalk Stadium, and they lost to Arkansas State 9-6. They were down. Troy was down 6-0. Rallied, tied the game, and then Arkansas State gets 3 runs in the top of the 9th. So that sends Troy immediately into the losers bracket, and that ain't where you want to be.
The season is actually over, Bill. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why the Sun Belt is doing this, but Troy's still got to play one more game on Friday, but it means nothing. They're out of contention to win the tournament, but for some reason they're forcing them to play UT Arlington on Friday, who's the number 2 seed. I guess just so they'll have a game. Enough teams to play to determine the champion. But Coach Smart said after the game that this game means absolutely nothing but pride for our players. But let's just be honest. They got beat by a team that only won 19 games and also beat them on senior day. And Troy just didn't pitch their ace for some reason. Pitched a guy that had only started 4 games all season, and he got drilled, and then they brought in Ortiz, who had been a good Saturday starter, was originally the Friday starter, and he gave up 2 runs, but you can't lose a baseball game when you have 18 hits. They had 18 hits and got beat.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that. Well, that's a heartbreaker.
That was tough. You're right.
I mean, this was. Let's just be honest. For Troy athletics, towards their paying sports, the men's sports, football had a losing record. Basketball had a losing record. In baseball, I think it's 27-25. It's been a tough year for Troy athletics.
Yeah, let's put it behind us and go on to next year, non-COVID.
And you know that the football players are already in summer school. Most everyone of them are in summer school and already working out with weights, and their off-season workouts are going on right now at Troy University.
That's good. Well, you know, the baseball team got hot as a firecracker towards the end of the season. They won 9 out of 10 conference games, and then suddenly and inexplicably at the very end of the season, I think they dropped 3 or 4. 4 of the last
5 they end up losing.
So it's just streaky, I guess. And then we thought they were playing their best baseball at the right time. But another thing, when you play these tournaments and it's one game or nothing, anything can happen in one game. But it's probably a long shot that Troy was going to win the tournament anyway. But since they're really the host team in nearby Montgomery, everybody would have loved to at least see Troy make it to the finals or semifinals, but not going to happen.
Yeah. And of course, school's out, and everybody's excited. Everybody's headed to the beach.
I just want to know. I just want to know how in the world you get these players who know their season's over. This game means absolutely nothing. They got to sit at the house today. They got to sit there tomorrow, and then go on Friday and play a meaningless game. I mean, how in the world can you get these guys to even want to play?
Yeah.
And I'm wondering how many will it be? I'm sure he expects everybody to be there, but a lot of these seniors are out of here now, and as far as I don't think there'll be any problem that these guys will show up and play on Friday.
Yeah, and then the season got shut down. So all these guys got an opportunity to come back and play their senior year. And, Coach Smart had to make that decision on who he wanted to come back and not. And, will he look back on this year and say, hey, I could have brought in some junior college guys, I could have brought in some more freshmen, I could have tried to rebuild this thing, and, and now we had a year where we barely finished 500. It's tough for these coaches to make these decisions, I bet.
Yeah. It was a tough league. It was a lot of good teams in our league.
That's true.
They hopefully now do they get an extra year, or what happens here with them? That they've already gotten an extra year. Is that right?
Well, the seniors got an extra year, but I don't know. I imagine the other guys will have an extra year if they want it, but I would imagine he's going to have to get rid of some guys. Baseball scholarships are usually not much. Usually most guys only have a half scholarship anyway.
Yeah, it's real. Well, you're exactly right. And not there as many people on scholarship as in other sports, but I'm sure Coach Smart will figure it out, and they'll be tough next year. And you know what? Listen to this. In September, we're talking about May is running by, so we're right in June. Well, June, July, August, and then they're already starting practicing again for the fall of baseball in early September.
Yeah, that's true. The year passes fast. We need to mention also that the SEC baseball tournament got started up the road in Birmingham or in Hoover, and Alabama won. Alabama beat South Carolina in one of these first-round games where if you lose, you're out. And then Auburn lost. Auburn squeaked into the tournament as the 12th seed, but they lost to Ole Miss. So Auburn's season is over. Alabama's is hanging by a thread. They're still alive.
Mike, I'm gonna say something right here that I doubt many people are talking about it. I think Auburn's coach might be in trouble. What do you think?
I don't know. He just went to the College World Series about 3 years ago. Coach Thompson's done a really good job.
But he didn't do a very good job this year. they weren't very good. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, what have you done for me lately, I guess? He could be in trouble.
That's the way it normally looks like. And then when you look at their team and you look at their assistant coaches, which one has the most exposure statewide, Mike?
Tim Hudson, for sure.
That's right, Tim Hudson, the former, who will be a Hall of Famer one day, is one of the coaches. He's a former player from Phoenix City, and then the other one is another pretty well-known guy too in football and baseball. You remember that?
Yeah, Jay Gross.
Jay Gross played professional baseball and also was a good football player up until his sophomore year, until he quit football to concentrate on baseball.
Well, if Auburn or any program goes looking for a new coach, we've all said that you go into the high school ranks and get Coach Ponder right now while you still can.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. No question
Yeah,
about it.
Troy had 6 seniors. They'll have 6 seniors that will leave the program. So there'll definitely be a lot of new players coming in.
Do you know? One of the great players, maybe of all time, right now, would be our guy that played 6 years with the Trojans.
Yeah, Drew Frederick.
Drew Frederick, and I think he'll go down. He'll be a Hall of Famer for Troy one day, no question.
Yeah.
Those guys of the other guy, Mike, is one of my favorite players, and he is gone, and we look forward to hopefully seeing him get a chance to play pro ball.
We've talked about all the development projects that Jimmy Lunsford played a leading role in. I've been watching the one that's county related, our new jail and judicial administration building out the Banks Highway. I'll tell you all, the old Boys and Girls Club building is now gone and been hauled away in dump trucks. Every day I go get my children at Troy Elementary School, watched the progress of that project. And so they are getting ready to.
That was Joel Withington. You know, we don't say enough about Johnny Withington and his role in a lot of this. And but that county building though was the great thing about them tearing it down is that they're gonna have to build them a new building somewhere. So they're gonna end up getting a brand new building out there somewhere. And of course this was a huge project. Now, I tell you, this county project is a huge project, multi-million-dollar project, and it's great for the city of Troy and definitely great for Pike County.
Well, and much of that jail project has been needed for about 30 years. So, you know, it's like the patients with the rec center and the sportsplex. They were very patient getting a new jail, but thankfully we got one. It's going to be a great facility. You know, also, the Boys and Girls Club, I think they're going to be moving down to where the old Knox Street Park is. And then that housing project that used to be back there is now gone, which I think is a good thing. You know, these housing projects are, they are. Well, I better stop talking.
But that you know, it does take care of an eyesore, and it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful complex. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I read where there's going to be 175 beds in that jail. Hey, that's almost like a prison. I mean, I hate to joke about it, but that's a big jail right there, buddy. 175 beds. Is that true?
I think so. I think that's what you hope they never need all of those, but you know they probably will.
I know it, but like I said, it's like a small prison. You know, there.
Yeah.
You know,
well, then the other thing is the prisons are overcrowded, or used to be, and so that kind of feeds back to the jails, doesn't it? You know, you can't take these people from the jails to the prisons because there's nowhere to put them in the prisons.
Yeah, that's right. But what's going to happen because of that is, like you said, more people will stay in the county jail and not go to the other jail, you know, or wait longer to send them to the prison.
You know, I always thought that you know, people don't like prisons. Some people don't like prisons in their community, like they don't like landfills in their community. But I always thought, man, you know, a prison is a great industry. It employs a lot of people, and it's always going to be there, and the inmates aren't going to escape that prison. So, you know, if Pike County could get them a big prison, I would say go for it.
Yeah, I think so, too.
I think it's probably there's a prison in Clio or Barber County that probably is the biggest employer over there.
Yeah, it is, no question about it. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking mostly this morning about the death of our former mayor, Jimmy Lunsford. And, you know, I say this from a country boy who grew up in Needmore, Alabama. He grew to prominence as a city servant, the mayor of the city of Troy. And for 30 years, he ran that mayor office with a great promise of more industry and more county government work together to make it a wonderful place to live.
You know, he was just a good administrator. I've talked about how he basically hired my father and got Troy in the curbside city recycling program, got that started. But, you know, another thing he did with my dad is, you know, Dad wrote 2 history books about Troy. One about the most influential people and then the history of Troy. And he wrote those books while he was working for the city of Troy Recycling. But, you know, his biggest supporter for doing those books was Mayor Lunsford. You know, he said, yes, Bill, you need to write these books. So he understood how important the history of Troy was, and you needed someone to write the history, right? Of course, Mayor Lunsford is prominent in the history book, and will continue to always be prominent in the story of Troy's history. I don't think any mayor, there's certainly no mayor served the city of Troy for 30 years or anywhere close to it.
And, well, back in the old days, you couldn't do that, could you?
Yeah, it was actually commissioners.
Type deal?
Exactly.
That's right.
They changed the form of government.
When did that change?
Probably in 1985 when Mayor Lunsford became the first real mayor. It was a commissioner mayor, and I think the different commissioners did rotate serving as mayor. I think there were 3 that were commissioners. And then they went to a mayor council, and we got 1 mayor who was the top boss, and then you had 5 councilmen. And that actually integrated city government too. When you created those 5 council slots, you had minority council people for the first time. I think Alphonso Bird was the first African American to be elected. But yeah, for the first 120 years of Troy's history, it would have been 3 commissioners, and then they rotate as mayor. Al Gibbs was an example of that. Corley Chapman, Bill Chapman were on it at one time. Winfred Kelly, Charles Meeks, James Ray
was on there, and
So Jimmy Lunsford growing up in Needmore, I guess he went to Charles Henderson, but he was like 4 years older than you when he died.
Yeah, and he rode the bus to school every morning from Needmore, and I used to love to hear him tell different stories about that. And of course, we would joke with him about all those boys, those country boys coming to Troy to go to school, and how he met this little majorette. Her name was Faith Stevens from Troy, Alabama, and they instantly fell in love and got married. I want to say in 1965 was when they got married, and Jimmy grew, moved to Troy, got involved with state government, drove to Montgomery for several years, worked with ADEC and all the governors and people like that.
He lived on Crow Hill for a long time, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he lived there, but that's when he came back. He bought a place and built him a home and went from there.
When did he live on Crow Hill? I don't remember living on Crow Hill. I always remember the country club.
Well, he did live there for a change before
couple years,
about a year or 2, and or maybe a little bit longer.
Well, he lived right across the street from Coach Bradshaw and Martha. Yeah, that's why I know him. My friend Charles, I was over there playing all the time. It's the last house on this where Alan Jones and Vicky live now, and
that's right.
And right across the street by the driveway was Mayor Lunsford's house.
That's right, exactly right. And lived there for a pretty good while. But then he bought a beautiful place where he lived when he died.
In the country club.
In the country club.
Yeah, he was always on his golf cart heading to the club. I'd see him all the time when I was up there.
He loved. He was a huge sports fan. He loved the Trojans. He was a big Alabama fan. I would, when I was working at Pike County Economic Development, I'd go eat lunch with him sometimes, and we talked sports, but you just driving with him in the car, you'd be talking about random stuff, and you would just learn so much about the city. I remember talking to him about Highway 231 and traffic counts and the number of traffic lights and traffic issues, and he knew everything about everything that involved city government and development.
And the thing about it, when he became mayor, pretty much what they would do, the commission would meet at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then an hour later they would have their actual meeting, open door meeting. They would handle all the small stuff in this first 4 o'clock meeting that they had, and then when the public meeting started, they were organized and ready to go with what was most important on the public issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I think they really hashed out all their debates in those early meetings, and so when they got in front of the public, they presented a unified front.
Yeah, and they took care of important things afterwards because they took away some of the small issues in this first initial meeting, and then it was all public. Everything they did pretty much was on television or public.
That's right. That's important. Is that they weren't hiding anything. Troy Cable was right there televising it. And,
exactly right. Yeah.
And I can tell you, as a reporter and former editor, that you called Mayor Lunsford up or talked to him after one of those city council meetings, or Johnny Witherton or Mr. Meeks.
Yeah.
They were going to help you and try to help you with your story and understand the issues.
You know, a long-standing member of the council, of the city council, and of course he was over the council. He was the guy over the actual council was Johnny Witherton, and what a great public figure he was for a long time.
Well, he would be a good person to talk to today or tomorrow. Well, maybe we can call him up tomorrow, Mike, or we can.
Yeah,
or Mr. Meeks would have served with Mayor Lunsford for decades.
Yeah, Charles Meeks for a long time. You're right. And, he passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. I should have known that.
Yeah, but you're right. We still think about the great service that he gave.
Well, his son now has his spot. So he could talk about him too.
Yeah, no question about it. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
When it comes to surgery, precision is perfection. The very latest technology available ensures the best possible outcome. The Mako Robotic Arm-Assisted Surgery System is now available at Troy Regional Medical Center. Skilled orthopedic surgeon Dr. Robert L. Liljeberg and his team provide patients with faster recovery and better movement after a knee replacement surgery. When accuracy matters, you deserve the very best. Troy Regional Medical Center.
May is Military Appreciation Month here at Bondi's Enterprise Toyota. Help share our love for our military with our annual Makers and Offers sales event and get NADA retail value for your trade. Every new vehicle comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty at Bondi's Enterprise Toyota.
Right now, you can join Planet Fitness for no enrollment, $10 a month, no commitment. We're keeping things squeaky clean with tons of equipment and plenty of space to spread out while you work out. And check out the crowd meter in our free app to pick the best time to visit. Don't wait. Join the judgment-free zone today for no enrollment, $10 a month, no commitment. Join in club or at planetfitness.com.
Planet Fitness is open in Troy. Join now for zero enrollment and $10 a month. Hurry, deal ends June 8th.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
May is Military Appreciation Month here at Bondi's Enterprise Toyota. Come share our love for our military with our annual Make Us an Offer sales event and get NADA retail value for your trade. Every new vehicle comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty. Shop us online at bondistoyota.com.
We're back off the air. We've been talking about Michael and Mike are all going to a pre-K or kindergarten graduation this morning. And
yes, we are.
And so that got me thinking about what my kids did yesterday, and the big thing was they had field day at Troy Elementary School. And do we all remember what a big deal, how exciting it was to have field day growing up, with the three-legged races?
And I can remember about that day, everybody got there about 8 o'clock, stayed there at about 3 almost. It's the sun tan, not the sun tan, but how we all got blistered. You remember that if you were out in the sun all day long?
Well, they sound like they did it right at Troy Elementary School. And actually, when I had my field days, I was living in Opelika in my field day years. But I still joke to my family, I say, you were talking to the guy that won the three-legged race in 4th grade at field day. with Carter Dukes. I wonder what Carter's doing now. But we destroyed the field.
Yeah, you know, and what it does, and a lot of kids, believe it or not, throughout their whole school career, probably can remember good things that happened to them on field day, like maybe they might have won a race or.
Yeah. Well, it'd be the three-legged race, the sack hop. You know, there's all kind of events. I just forgot. I'd forgotten until Maggie had field day what a big deal field day was, and so I'm proud that they're still doing that for children. They will remember.
Yeah, it's hard to think back of growing up in Cherry Street. You had the huge playground and the field over there behind the church and the Cherry Street. That's where everything happened when you're growing up as a kid back then.
Did y'all have field? You remember your field days?
Oh yeah, I remember them. Yeah, I remember the Scholastic Sports Day too. We had to do the sit-ups and the pull-ups and the flex arm hang and all that stuff that Coach Steve would make us do.
I remember running an 880-yard race. I ran the 880. It was like a track meet. Field day when I was going through was like a track meet, and you did different things. And your classroom would get credit for certain things. And
you probably had a tug of rope where one class took on another class, and you know they had face painting. They got all kind of good food.
Troy was funny growing up. You know, you wouldn't think in a small town it'd be split up like that, but you know, we didn't know the College View kids growing up, really. You know, College View kids went to College View, we went to Cherry Street.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For that period of time, you know, question about it.
Probably the only way you got to know them was youth sports. Yeah, Dixie Youth Baseball, probably.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, when you go up on the hill, they say 1,100 kids go to that school in Troy.
Troy Elementary School.
How many for one building? What do you mean?
Yeah, I think so.
And well, that's a huge school. And
well,
you pick your kids up there, don't you?
Yeah, the traffic is an issue. I mean, getting in and out of there, you got to have about 8 police officers directing traffic. And
does it move pretty quick, Ron?
Some days it does, and then some days you're stuck there for 20 minutes before you even get to turn into on what is it, Gibb Street, or before you can even.
You know, that flow to get 1,000 kids back home is pretty rough, I bet.
You know what's interesting about that? Now there's tons of land that's for sale that they can expand. So
hey, yeah.
There's people that own that land.
Doesn't that kind of back up to the Amos
actually both sides of the road they can move to.
No, it doesn't connect. It doesn't connect. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to you this morning live on Facebook and on Troy Cable Channel 2. We appreciate you this morning as we are trying our best to bring you as much news about Jimmy Lunsford's death after surgery in Birmingham.
Yeah, let's Mike.
From a country boy to great promise as a city servant and mayor of the city of Troy, Jimmy Lunsford will forever be remembered by the people of Troy and Pike County.
For the people who are just joining us, here's what we know. Mayor Lunsford passed away during an operation, surgery in Birmingham on his heart valve. Died in surgery. I think he was 78 or 79 approximately, would be my guess. So he leaves his wife Faye and his children Jim and Holly. Who Holly's always been a good friend of mine, so we're so sad and thinking about them. And he was mayor from 1985 to I think 2012. You know, added up. Before that, he was a city commissioner. After that, he was a key recruiter for Pike County economic development. So, I mean, of the deaths of people that would just resonate through the community, Jimmy Lunsford would be maybe number one on that list.
Very well said, Bryce. Very well said. And I appreciate you giving them that information. And from that old country boy, and I used to joke with him about it, to the mayor of the city of Troy, the great city of Troy. For 30 years, he guided Troy so well. And of course, Mayor Reeves took over and has done the same thing for the city of Troy. And we're so grateful to you, Mayor, wherever you are, and I know where you are. We want to thank you, buddy, for everything you did for our community, and continue things that continue through your efforts. And he's a dear man, and dear friend. And as I say, he was a great one, and the great recruiter from Needmore, Alabama.
From Needmore.
Jimmy Lunsford.
You know, I did that story on the Galt crime spree, and I went up to the cemetery near Needmore. The final shootout happened, and I was struck, in that cemetery, which is at a beautiful place. I saw a lot of gravestone markers with the name Lunsford, so I knew that must have been Mayor Lunsford's people.
I think so, no question about it. And he was awfully proud. Let me tell you this. He was awfully proud. When I used to joke with him about growing up as a country boy down there, he had Boy, his great brother, wonderful companion for so many years. They did everything together for years. He was proud of that stigma, being an old country boy. He grew up on a farm and worked hard on a farm.
He was really very sensitive, and he's like Mike. He would get very emotional. He cared about people, and talking about Foy makes me think about what a great person he was and his family. Foy was the father of Kim Lunsford, who was paralyzed from the neck down in an accident when she was in college. And so for the rest of her life, she required pretty much 24/7 care, and he could really barely speak. But Foy and his wife and family were just, you couldn't have had better parents to deal with someone going through that terrible tragedy. But that was Mayor Lunsford's niece, and he was always very close and supportive of them going through that challenging time. So now he's up there with Kim, and she can walk again.
And Kim is walking like me and you, or better than me and you right now. So you're exactly right. How well said, buddy. Because Foy, his brother, who was his mentor and friend, very good friends, and I tell you, great combination, Foy Lunsford and Jimmy Lunsford, as they grew up in Needmore, Alabama. And a lot of people don't talk much about Jimmy's military life. Jimmy Lunsford was retired colonel in the U.S. Army for over 30 years, I would say, wouldn't you?
At least 20 years. He was Alabama National. I think he retired as a major, but he had a great career, and he understood the military too, because he was in it for so long in a leadership role.
Yeah, he's the one that always wants the park when you're across the Burger King, Wall of Flags, Memorial Park.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
That was always unique in Troy, all the flags when you're growing up.
One thing I think they did that I liked is, they beautified all the water towers. That main water tower on Highway 231 that has that big, pretty Troy, that's kind of become a landmark.
Oh yeah, he was.
This funeral will be. Troy will be shut down. There'll be such a police presence, fire department presence, military presence. It will be a huge funeral, I would imagine.
You're exactly right. And I tell you what else you'll see, and I don't want to get emotional, but you'll see mayors and civic members, government members from all over this part of the country to recognize Jimmy Lunsford. know that we're talking a little bit before it happens, but I foresee that to happen.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, all the city employees, and he stayed in touch with them and helped them. When I was at Pike County Economic Development, people would come out and see him, and these were people he'd worked with decades before that he'd remained friends with. Probably should mention he was also in the insurance business and had a good, strong insurance business he ran.
No question about it. And I just some of his old friends, I think about it, Thomas Walker and James Spivey and guys that he sort of grew up with in this community, and he had so many friends.
Well, he had some health issues. He had COVID about a year ago,
That's right.
He fought through. He's a tough man. He always had back issues. I know he had several major back surgeries in his life. So he would carry on despite these physical ailments. But I know that he enjoyed his life too. He got to go on great trips and meet fascinating people, and it was he had some health issues and challenges like we all do, but it was a wonderful life for Jimmy.
I'll tell you something up close and personal. On Sunday night, either Sunday or Monday night, I called him and talked to him. This past week, and all he could say is that, "No, man, hey, I feel great. And I'm gonna have this surgery and gonna be better after that and everything." He was extremely positive, just like he's been all his life about things. He was extremely positive about his health, and that things will be better, and going to have this operation and so forth. Well, things didn't particularly well, so the Lord wanted Jimmy to come on, because he needed Jimmy, and let me tell you this, Jimmy Lunsford's in the house of the Lord right now today, and we're so proud of it. And of course, again, all the folks will be mourning, and there'll be a lot of them. We want to give our respect to you, and all you friends out there, and guys, there's a bunch of them. And
Well,
like Mike said so very well just a while ago, this celebration of Jimmy Lunsford's life will be quite something, I promise you, in the city of Troy and Pike County.
Oh, it will.
Yeah, I mean, thank goodness we're in a situation where COVID is not coming to an end, but it's definitely, you've got a lot of people that have had the vaccine, both shots, and a lot of people can come, and hopefully they will have a funeral that he deserves, where as many people as possible can come.
Speaking of COVID, I saw a headline yesterday that's noteworthy that we should mention that nationwide in America, at least 50% of the adult population is now fully vaccinated.
That is good, yeah.
So I guess that's over the age of 18 or so, but about 130 million people, and fully vaccinated means you've gotten both shots and have waited the 2 or 3 weeks for it to kick in. And then you have probably 69-70% that have gotten at least one vaccine. So they say herd immunity kicks in at 70%, and if this gives immunity, in a month we'll be at 70% of the adult population that's fully vaccinated. Now, I did read that Alabama is second from the last with the vaccination rate, but in America we passed the 50% mark.
Yeah, I mean, you look at all these different programs, especially in the SEC, and the majority of the schools have released that they'll be at 100% capacity as far as the football season. And Dad would talk about it all the time, but we're about to be in June. I mean, my goodness, they're going to be practicing.
Yeah.
Probably the end of July. I mean, it's unbelievable how close we are.
And something crazy, y'all, is high schools, the second week in June, the coaches can go on the field with them, so their regular practices will start the second week in June. That's just asinine to me. It's asinine, if I can pronounce it right. Don't you think, right?
Well, I don't think that. Yeah, but I mean, surely these aren't like real practices. Aren't these like little passing 7-on-7 drills?
I'm talking about real practices that the coach can come on the field with a helmet, whatever.
Yeah, helmet and shorts, but yeah. Helmet and shorts, they can be on the field. Yeah, they can be on the field, yeah.
But listen to this. How about John Smith and his wife Rosie wanting to take the family on vacation in July or August? And Miss Smith, talking like a football coach, your boy has got to be out here. We're not, and you're not gonna let him. That Bill, hey, he's gonna practice football if he's gonna play for me.
Yeah, if that's the case, yeah,
same thing.
That won't go over well.
They own you.
I remember the late Jay Jeffco. We had mandatory workouts in the summer. In my senior year, I wanted to go to the beach. I wanted to do whatever. When you didn't hit the mandatory amount of workouts, he ran you every day after practice. He ran you till you couldn't even stand up anymore. So that's how they'll end up probably doing it with kids that don't, are not always there.
No, there's no Coach Jeff Coates left.
You pay the price later for sure.
He was so stubborn, and he was not going to change his rules for anybody. But that's what.
I'll never forget. We did that hurt hustle, and it was at the very end of practice, and it was like 2 days, 3 days, and I mean there were so many guys that just laid on that field for probably 30 minutes after practice, couldn't even get up.
Yeah, that's right.
We used to do we would do belly flops after practice or stop and goes. You know what those are? You sprint and then you blow the whistle and stop for half a second and keep going. I had to do those a couple times too.
Yeah, I ran my mouth a few too many times, and he didn't like it at all. And I used to have to stay after practice to do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but let me tell you this. I think the day of the 2-day practices is gone. I think now they're going to strictly one day practice, but I think it's about 3 hours long. But I think they made them now go to one practice. I will tell you this: Charles Henderson High School of Troy will no longer have morning practices. That's another thing that I never really agreed on is morning practices. Heck, he came. This kid trying to open his eyes, and then the coach is trying to tell him to run right, run left, or whatever. And this guy's not even completely awake, at least a lot of the kids would be. I was saying this morning practices that that's what they had for the last 4, 5, 6 years at Charleston.
It's a different world. I mean,
you should never have a kid with cramps anymore to start the season when you have this much time to get ready for it.
Yeah, but listen to this though. The morning practices would be. They'll start practice at 7 o'clock. Well, they get up at say 6 o'clock, get dressed, eat some breakfast, and then go to practice and probably throw it up. No, excuse me, not really. But
I would not have liked that at all.
And in the practice at 8:30, go back to the dressing room and shower, or hopefully shower. I don't believe they shower. A lot of them don't. And then they go to class at 9. Boy, that's been a hectic morning, wouldn't you say?
Yep. Talking about football.
That's what it used to be, but it's no longer. I talked to the coach and said, we can't do it in the afternoon. We can't do it. And that is practice is starting at 3 o'clock.
I've already started looking for the football magazines, which used to come out in May, but I guess COVID has pushed back the publication schedule. Last year the Lindy's and the Athlons had to be in a quandary. They didn't even know if they were going to have a football season. So you print a magazine and pay all that money to the writers, and some had magazines, but most didn't last year.
Well, I buy every one of them.
I know it.
I haven't seen them yet. I'm gonna look for them today. Of course, I'm at the beach. The beach is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
If you find some, bring them. I want to read them. I stole one of yours last year, but you know Phil Steele has the biggest one, and he didn't do one last year.
Yeah, he was online. He was online last year.
I know he's online. I reckon he must sell enough online to make him feel good. But he's the best, no question about it. He's the best.
But
the rest of them sort of copy each other. You know what I mean?
Did you see where the Rice? Did you see where the Patriots they got mini camps going on, and Mac Jones is a quarterback, and they're making him wear number 50.
Oh.
Number 50.
You know how they do like rookie hazing. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
I saw one little Twitter post somebody made that said that Mac Jones looked really, really good in rookie mini camp. So I hope he does well.
Everybody's trying to figure out where Julio's going now. Julio Jones is going to be out of Atlanta. And of course, Julio is one of the greatest receivers in NFL history. He's on pace to break a lot of Jerry Rice's records. He's only 32, but a lot of people are trying to figure out where he's going to go. A lot of people think he might end up in either New England or Green Bay. And if he ends up in New England playing for Belichick, a lot of those, great prognosticators said, Cam Newton's not going to be the quarterback. If he goes to New England, it'll be Mac Jones, the guy that can really throw the ball.
Ooh, I like that. I like that scenario.
You can't depend on Julio. He'll get hurt. Something wrong.
Dad, he's all pro every year.
He gets hurt, Mike.
Dad, he's all pro every year.
Well, last year he was mostly hurt.
He is, but he still can't be depended on. How many times did he get hurt?
Dad, he is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Are you out of your mind?
Yeah.
Well,
sure. Let him be a Hall of Famer.
First ballot Hall of Famer. Oh my goodness, we can't depend on you. Did you see the catches he made? Did you see the catches he made against New England in the championship game in the Super Bowl?
I'm not saying that he had good days and bad days, but he stayed hurt more.
You've had this ever since he dropped a few balls at Alabama. You used to talk about it all the time.
I mean, don't say. I'm a big fan.
I'm about to have to embarrass you when I pull up his numbers.
With what?
I saw a picture of Julio.
When I pull up Julio's numbers, you're gonna be shocked.
He is such an athlete.
But lately he's been hurt so much.
Julio's been in the news because of this trade rumor.
To recognize our good friend Jimmy Lunsford.
Okay.
We'll
talk about Julio later.
Our end of the show today is
well,
very humble hearts we
yeah.
come to you because of the death of former Mayor Jimmy Lunsford of Troy, and what a wonderful, wonderful man, and what a wonderful, wonderful legacy he has brought to the city of Troy and Pike County, and mayors of towns all around recognize this man for his achievements today.
Yeah,
I mean, I totally agree with everything Dad said. He was a legendary figure, such a likable person, such a caring person. Always would come and speak to you, super nice. What a mayor should be, in a small community like Troy, Alabama, and he will definitely be missed. And thoughts and prayers go out to Jim and Holly and Faye, and I'm sure we'll be talking about him a lot more in the next few days.
Well
said. His life and as it from growing up to the mayor of the city of Troy, and then to an economic top-rated economic development guy, we think about the wonderful things he has done to help us grow as a community and as a county, and things have just really, really happened great because of the work that he and his people did back in the day he was mayor. And of course, as now a great mayor right now, Jason Reeves, and what he's done for the community, they were all sort of raised out there in Needmore, the general area,
it's great people that make great communities. Isn't that the case?
But exactly right.
So thank you for watching. This show will be rebroadcast at 1:30, and then we'll be back here tomorrow.